A lot of people look at Gulf Shores, Alabama and think, I would love to live near the beach. But the better question is not just, can I afford Gulf Shores? The better question is, what kind of Gulf Shores lifestyle can I actually afford? Because there's a big difference between living directly near the beach, living in a condo, living farther from the water, buying a full-time home, buying a second home, or choosing to live inland and drive to the beach when you want to. Those are all very different financial decisions. And that is where people can get surprised. Because the cost of living in Gulf Shores is not just about the home price. It's also about insurance, flood zones, HOA fees, utilities, maintenance, property taxes, dining out, tourism pricing, and how often you actually spend money enjoying the beach lifestyle. So in this video, I'm going to break down the real cost of living in Gulf Shores, Alabama. Not just the obvious expenses, but the cost people sometimes forget to think about before moving here. And as always, this is not financial advice. Every property, budget, loan, insurance quote, and lifestyle is different. My goal is to help you understand the questions to ask before deciding if Gulf Shores makes sense for you. If this is your first time on the channel, I'm really glad you're here. I'm Miranda Baldridge with Advantage Real Estate, your local go-to realtor and community connector right here in Baldwin County, Alabama. I help people relocate to Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, Foley, Fairhope, Daphne, Spanish Fort, Robertsdale, and all the surrounding areas. And one of the biggest things I help buyers understand is that living near the Alabama Gulf Coast can look very different depending on where you choose to live. Gulf Shores is different from Foley. It is different from Orange Beach, and it is very different from the Eastern Shore areas like Fairhope, Daphne, or Spanish Fort. So if you're thinking about moving to Baldwin County or anywhere near the Alabama Gulf Coast, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I share videos about what it's really like living here and what you should know before making the move. All right, let's talk about what it actually costs to live in Gulf Shores. The first thing to understand is that Gulf Shores is not one flat price point. Where you live inside Gulf Shores can make a big difference. A home or a condo close to the beach is usually going to be priced very differently than something further inland, and that makes sense. You're paying for location, access, the views, walkability to the beach in some areas, rental potential in some cases, and the lifestyle that comes with being closer to the water. This is why two buyers can both say that they want to live in Gulf Shores, but they may need completely different budgets. One buyer may want a beachfront condo. Another may want a single-family home farther from the water. Another may want something they can use as a second home. Another may want a full-time residence where the beach is nearby, but not necessarily right outside the door. Those are completely different cost structures. So before you ask, how much does it cost to live in Gulf Shores? The first question should be, what version of Gulf Shores living do I actually want? Because that answer will shape your budget more than anything else. As of mid-2026, market data from sources like Zillow and Redfin generally showed Gulf Shores home values and median sale prices in the low to mid 400,000s. That number is only a starting point. It can change from month to month, and it does not mean every property in Gulf Shores is going to be in that range. You will see properties below that. You will see properties far above that. And once you start looking at condos, waterfront homes, newer construction, properties closer to the beach, or homes with rental potential, the numbers can change quickly. This is why I would not use one average price to decide whether Gulf Shores is affordable. Averages can be misleading in a coastal market. What matters more is the type of property you want. Are you looking for a condo, a primary residence, a second home, a property closer to the beach, something farther from the tourist areas, a newer home, an older home, something with lower maintenance? All of those decisions affect the real cost. So if you're thinking about buying in Gulf Shores, you want to look beyond the purchase price and understand the full monthly cost. Renting can also vary a lot in Gulf Shores, and this is where people need to be careful with online numbers. Rental numbers can look very different depending on the source and the type of rental being measured. For example, apartment averages may show closer to the 1,300 or 1,400 range, while broader rental data that includes houses, condos, and all property types can be closer to the 2,000s. So if you are planning to rent before buying, pay close attention to what type of rental you are comparing. A standard apartment is not the same as a beach area condo. A long-term rental house is not the same as a vacation style property. And a rental closer to the water may be be priced very differently than something farther away. Renting can be a smart move if you're not sure which area fits you yet, but it is still important to budget realistically. If your goal is to test Gulf Shores full-time before buying, make sure you compare long-term rental options, not just vacation rental pricing. One of the biggest differences between Gulf Shores and places like Foley is the condo factor. In Gulf Shores, a lot of buyers consider condos because they want lower maintenance, beach access, amenities, views, or the possibility of using the property differently when they're not there. But condos come with a cost that buyers need to understand. The big one is the HOA fees. HOA fees can vary a lot depending on the building, the amenities, the insurance structure, maintenance needs, reserves, location, and what is included. Some monthly fees may feel manageable. Others can be much higher, especially in buildings with elevators, pools, beach access, exterior maintenance, or larger insurance responsibilities. So when you look at a condo, don't just look at the purchase price. Ask what the condo fee includes. Ask about reserves. Ask about special assessments. Ask about insurance. Ask about rental rules if that matters to you. A condo can be a great fit for the right buyer, but the monthly number has to make sense. This is one of the most important parts of buying near the coast. Insurance and flood zones can make a major difference in your total cost. This is where buyers need to be careful. Do not wait until the end of the process to ask about insurance. Get insurance quotes early. Understand whether flood insurance is required or not. Look at the flood zone. Ask about wind coverage. Ask about the age of the roof, about elevation, about how the property is built. And if you are looking at a condo, understand how insurance is handled between the association and the individual owner. The City of Gulf Shores has map resources that include flood zones, also FEMA flood maps. So this is something buyers can and should look into when evaluating a specific property. These details can affect your monthly payment and your comfort level with the property. This does not mean you should avoid Gulf Shores. It just means coastal buying requires more homework. A home that looks affordable online may feel very different once you add insurance, flood insurance, HOA fees, maintenance, and this is one of the areas where you want to slow down and get real numbers before making a decision. One thing buyers sometimes appreciate Alabama is that property taxes are often lower than what people are used to in many other states. For Gulf Shores specifically, the city lists the total millage rate at 33. Now, your actual property tax depends on property value, classification, exemptions, and other factors. So you should always verify the specific numbers for the property that you're considering. But compared with insurance and HOA fees, property taxes are usually not the expense that surprises people the most. For coastal buyers, the bigger surprises are usually insurance, flood-related costs, HOA fees, maintenance, and the cost difference between being near the beach versus being farther inland. So property taxes matter, but they are only one part of the full picture. Utilities in Gulf Shores can depend heavily on the property. A condo may have a different utility setup than a single-family home. A newer home may be more efficient than an older home. A larger home will usually cost more to cool than a smaller property. And because Gulf Shores has hot, humid summers, air conditioning can be a real monthly expense. Many homeowners should expect electric bills to rise during the warmer months, especially if they like to keep the home very cool. You also need to think about maintenance. Coastal air, storms, humidity, exterior maintenance, landscaping, pest control, and general upkeep all matter. If you own a condo, some exterior maintenance may be handled through the association, but you are paying for that through the HOA fee. If you own a house, you have more control, but you may also have more responsibility. So again, it's not just the mortgage, it's the full cost of ownership. Everyday living expenses in Gulf Shores can be reasonable depending on how you live, but the lifestyle spending can add up fast. Groceries may not feel dramatically different from other parts of Baldwin County, but dining out, beach activities, entertainment, visitors, parking, events, and let's go enjoy the coast spending can become a real part of your budget. This is something people often underestimate. When you live near the beach, it's easy to go out more often. It's easy to meet friends for dinner, to have visitors in town, to spend money because the lifestyle is part of the attraction. That does not mean you have to live expensively in Gulf Shores. You can absolutely control your lifestyle spending, but you need to be honest with yourself. If you're moving here because you want the restaurants, beach days, events, boating, and entertainment, then build that into your budget. This is where the decision becomes becomes very practical. If you want to be closer to the beach, Gulf Shores may be worth the extra cost. But if your main goal is to live near the beach while keeping your monthly costs lower, Foley may make more sense. Foley often gives buyers more of an inland residential lifestyle with shopping, neighborhoods, and access to the beach by car. Gulf Shores gives you more direct access to the coastal lifestyle, but that usually comes with higher housing costs, more tourism influence, and more coastal related expenses. So the question is not which one is better. The question is, how often do I actually need to be close to the beach? If you want the beach to be part of your normal week, Gulf Shores may be worth it. If you're happy driving to the beach when you want to go, Foley may give you a better balance. The best way to budget for Gulf Shores is to separate your cost into categories. Start with housing, then add insurance, HOA fees if applicable, then taxes, utilities, then maintenance, transportation, add groceries, lifestyle spending. That's the real number, not just the mortgage, not just the rent, not just the listing price. For some people, Gulf Shores is absolutely worth it. They want the lifestyle and they're comfortable paying for it. For others, the numbers may point them towards Foley, Robertsdale, Daphne, or another Baldwin County area instead, and that is okay. The goal is not to force Gulf Shores to fit. The goal is to find the area that actually works for your lifestyle and your budget. So is Gulf Shores affordable? The honest answer is, it depends on what version of Gulf Shores you want. If you want beachfront, condo amenities, water views, or a property close to the beach, you need to budget for that. If you're flexible on location and property type, you may have more options. But either way, make sure you look at the full monthly cost. Home price, mortgage, HOA fees, insurance, flood zones, taxes, utilities, maintenance, and lifestyle spending all matter. And if you're comparing Gulf Shores to Foley, Orange Beach, Fairhope, Daphne, or anywhere else in Baldwin County, I'd be happy to help you understand the differences and figure out which area makes the most sense for you. You can call, text, or email me anytime. All of my contact information is in the description below. And if you found this video helpful, which I hope you did, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I share a lot of videos about what it's really like living here along the Alabama Gulf Coast. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.